Hey guys, welcome to another Sunday show-off video. The game in question, as you can see right on the screen, is Human Resource Machine. Now, if you recognize the aesthetic, it's actually made by the same people who created. I think it's called a game called Little Inferno, where you sort of just basically play around with sort of like toys in front of a fireplace. So basically, Human Resource Machine is kind of like a game that is a wrapper for programming. That's probably not the best way to say it. So I mean, the easiest way to just sort of understand what goes on. So if I go to the BT mailroom, and I'll just be picking some very random levels. So the idea is that we'll just we'll just do the. So basically, the idea is that you're giving a bunch of puzzles, and of course each puzzle is that you're giving a bunch of commands, and what you need to do is basically you need to follow these instructions in that and it's essentially a drag and drop programming interface, and it's from what I've read, it's apparently very similar to assembly. So assembly I do apologize, would go a bit nerdy here. In terms of programming language, they're sort of like the common ones, which are like Python, JavaScript, and such. And basically assembly is the language that's above machine language. So computers basically understand zeros and ones at the very, very basic level. Then assembly is the language that allows us that makes things a little bit easier for us, which compiles back into machine language. And then on top of assembly is C++, and then on top of C++ is Python, and some of the more popular languages that we're all used to. But enough rambling about computer languages. So what we want to do here is grab each thing from the inbox and drop each one into the outbox. So it's like here, by putting in the inbox, what he will do is that he'll grab something from the inbox. And then of course, and then drop each one into the outbox. You got a new command. You can drag jumps, arrows to jump to different lines within your program. So basically, with this new ability, you can complete this assignment using only 3 total commands. So I'm just gonna run it here, and then of course I can just speed up what he's doing. And of course, the jump, people will recognize that as like a loop of some sort. So it's actually basically control flow sort of thing. And now the interesting that comes up here is that with the size challenge, there is actually sort of like a size to the speed challenge. So size is basically the size of your program, like the number of commands. So for some people, the programming language would just be basically how big the program is. But in the speed challenge, completing 25 or fewer steps, that means here I've done it 30 times, but I can do it less times. And of course that's something you can sort of just do in your own time. So. And basically, some of the puzzles get a bit more interesting. Now, I haven't actually gone like all the way up there because I'm really up here at the moment, because some of them have admittedly gotten quite tough to the point where it's sort of like, okay, yeah, this is getting a bit too much for me. So it's definitely one of those games that you kind of just want to take a break every now and then. So, alright, so for each thing in the inbox, triple it, and then outbox the result. So, so basically we've got a bunch of numbers here, and so what we want to do is we want to take the 7, we want to triple it, so that becomes 21. And since I know the solution, since I figured out the solution, you probably saw it in the tab already before I switched it over, is that I'm just gonna just program it from scratch. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the 7, copy it, and then that copy is basically just saving it. So in programming, that will be like saving as a variable. And alright, so I wanted to triple it. So triple it is the same as adding 7 to itself 3 times. So what I can do is that I'm still holding the 7, so I'll add the 0, and then I'll put it in the outbox, and then I'll just jump, and we'll see if that works. So, and basically the other thing you can also do is that I can go step by step at a time. So basically I can go step, I take the 7, and then you see how it just executes each additional command right after. So it means I put the 7, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to add 7, I'm going to add 7 again, and I'm going to put the result in the outbox. And then basically I can hit play and have our little guy keep on going and basically do what we need to do. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much the gist of it really. And so size challenge 6 and 24, that means this is probably the most efficient program that I could ever hope to make with this kind of challenge. So we probably might want to go to one of the harder ones, like I'm just trying to think which one was it that I was looking at the other day. So equalization room. Okay, now actually the interesting thing about this is that no, just do a blank one. The interesting thing about this game is that I've been actually using this game to actually sort of teach sort of like conceptual thinking skills, and with a kid in high school, and he's sort of getting it, but there are other times where it just feels like you just kind of want to throw something at the wall and just let it stick. So let's see. So I've got the equalization room. So get 2 things from the inbox. If they are equal, put one of them in the outbox. Discard non-equal pairs. Repeat. Now, the thing about this one, and I do feel a bit guilty for actually spoiling the trick for this one, is that if you look at all these commands, you don't actually have anything that says compare 2 values. If these 2 values are the same, put it in the outbox. And that's kind of the thing about computer programming in general, is that the computers we use today is essentially just all advanced decisions that ultimately boils down to strings of zeros and ones. And so this is sort of just a way of really seeing and sort of appreciating, for some of us with a little more insight, just sort of appreciating just how complex computers can be just from fairly basic commands. So the trick to this question is that if they are equal, now if 2 numbers are equal, if you subtract one from the other, then it will equal 0. So basically if we look here, we've got a 6 and a 7. So what I can do is that I can put the 6 down, I can take the 7, I can subtract the 6. If the result is not 0, then if they are equal, put one of them in the outbox. Okay, if they're not equal, then I could just move to the next pair. If they are equal, then I can just take one and put it in the outbox. So I'm just gonna program this in and hopefully get it right the first go. And then so I'm gonna put the 6 in here, and then I'm gonna get the 7, and then I'm gonna subtract from the 0, and then jump if 0. Alright, so jump is 0, then that goes to the outbox. And then if it's not 0, then it continues on. Jump if 0, then I need to copy from 0. Okay, let's see if this works. Alright, so as I said before, he puts down the 6, he takes the 7, he subtracts the 6 from it. Now the result is not 0, so it goes back to the inbox. Now puts it down here again, and then takes the second one, subtract 6, becomes 0, so as a result I just take one of the 6s and put it in the outbox. Alright, now the expected total do item not 1. Okay, so I just forgot the final jump, just to loop it back to the beginning. I'm actually wondering if that's really necessary. Yeah, that's probably necessary. So you can sort of, and one of the things is that they actually randomize the numbers, so you can't actually sort of just do it like in accordance with the actual numbers as well, because there's actually a sort of like a little secret that they don't tell you, is that there's sort of a condition where if you sort of just fit your program to the specific arrangement of numbers, the game will actually sort of like give you marks for getting a correct solution, but it will tell you the solution is not robust. And basically that your algorithm is not addressing everything in the general sense. So now here, this is the interesting bit. So it says nanofuel commands, so which is nice. So that means I've got that means if my program was compiled as a text file or as an actual program, it will be as small as possible there is. But however, the speed challenge means that basically I can make it a tiny bit more efficient, which is certainly a sort of like an additional challenge for some of those. So I personally I really enjoy Human Resource Machine, although definitely puzzle games are definitely one of those that can be a bit hit or miss for some people, because you know they require a level of conceptual thinking which not a lot of people have, and especially it appeals to programmers, or people who've done programming like me, because we understand how to sort of just look at a certain program, just break it down into each of its individual steps, and just sort of go through each step and just say, okay, I want this to happen, I want that to happen, and then if it's not happening, then we go back and figure out why. So yeah, this is Human Resource Machine. You can get it for fairly cheap on Steam, or I know the game has its own separate page in which you can buy separately from the developers. They are very much a bunch of similar games which are really good for just sort of just really teaching even just high school children programming concepts without having to really do any like real programming. So yeah. Once again, this is Human Resource Machine. My name is Matt. I really do enjoy this game, and if you do decide to get this, I hope you enjoy it as well. As always, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this content, feel free to hit the like or subscribe button, and I will see you on the next video.